Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome, dear learners, to the another session of International Business Management. I am Dr. Manisha Goswami, Assistant Professor at Institute of Business Management, GLA University, Mathura. Today, we are going to start with lecture number 12, and that is regarding foreign exchange market. Before we proceed with lecture number 12, let's try to look at what we did in our previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we talk about foreign regulatory body like FEMA. Particularly how the foreign exchange is regulated in India was taken into consideration in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we come to know the three different stages of passing a foreign exchange regulatory body in our country. Firstly, in the year 1947, Foreign Exchange Regulatory Act was introduced under the Prime Ministership of Shri Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji. And at that point of time, the kind of the act it was and it used to be considered by the various analysts and the economists that it's one of the stringent act. The people find it the most harsh act. Why? Because it was totally against the foreign exchange. They were believing in closed economy, and few of the transactions used to take place, and that too with lot of duties upon it. Thereafter, there was a little improvement in the foreign exchange regulatory body in the name of Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, and the new act came into practice when the Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of a country in the year 1973, which came into practice in 1st January 1974. And this particular act was another little betterment of the previous one, but still some of the things were absolutely against some of the industry, some of the sector, particularly the beverage area, because of which Coca-Cola company left our country in the year 1974 after the execution of Foreign Exchange Regulatory Act in our country. That means since 1947 till 1973 or 4, there were some execution of the regulatory bodies which were against the regulation related to the foreign reserves in a country, or they were believing in the closed economy. They don't want to open the economy for the other nation. And it was not till 1974, even it continued from 1947 till 1990 even, right? In the year 1991, LPG policy was adopted, which start creating a contradiction with existing FERA, right? And because of which in the year 1999, modified act of the Foreign Exchange Regulation came into practice, that is what known as FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, which came into being in 1st June 2000. Under the Prime Ministership of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So this is what we covered in our previous lecture, and we try to get into more detail that how FERA was different from the FEMA and how beneficiary the FEMA is as compared to FERA. Because in case of the FEMA, what we observed that every violation is going to be considered as a civil offence, where in case of the FERA we observed that every violation is considered as a criminal offence, which is going to put you behind the bars even without any warrant, where in case of the FEMA there is little scope that you will not be put behind the bars until unless there is a warrant issue against that person. So that was regarding the FEMA and how good it is for the betterment of the nation economy has already been discussed in the previous lecture, where we emphasize that because of FEMA, now the foreign investment in India become quite easy, because we liberalized the policy under the economic reform in 1991, and for the smooth execution of that economic reform in our country, FEMA further facilitated it. FEMA is having 49 section, where it has a specification that central government of a country will be setting the rules for the FEMA and foreign exchange and regulation other activities, whereas in case there is another section in FEMA which is stating that RBI will be ensuring the regulation of the FEMA. Central government will be framing the rules and RBI will be setting the regulation, right? So this was discussed in the previous lecture, and even we talked about the meaning of foreign exchange. We talk about the various type of foreign exchange rates, right? What are the different determinants of the foreign exchange rate we had discussed in the previous lecture. And as far as the types are concerned, there are three different types. Fixed is there, flexible is there, and third one was the managed. Fixed, where you try to fix your currency, that is not going to get influenced by the demand forces, right? That is not going to influence by the market forces. There is no influence of what? Market forces for the fixed. However, there will be an influence of the market forces as far as the flexible market is concerned. In the managed, there is going to be a slight influence of the market forces, and the rest is going to be managed by the central bank of that country. In case of the fixed rate of the foreign exchange, what they try to do, they try to fix their currency, or rather they peg their currency with established currency like US dollar mostly. And in case of the flexible rate of the currency, the people are totally relying on the demand and supply of the currency in the market, and on that basis they will be valuing their currency. In the managed, there are both market forces and the government central bank evaluation of the currency. And even in the previous lecture, we talk about the various factors influencing the exchange rate, like we come to know about the role of the inflation in influencing the exchange rate. We even come to know about how interest rate would be playing the role in influencing the exchange rate. We come to know about the government interventions, right? How badly government intervention can affect the involvement of foreign investors in your country. If you as a government having a lot of say in the business and in the industrial policy, and very often you make changes and bring changes in the industrial policy, it's going to affect the strategy making of the foreign company. So they don't like to enter into such country where there are a lot of instability in terms of policies or in terms of the political environment or maybe the economical environment. They don't want to enter, right? Even the government debts are also going to be a point of concern. The speculation which people are having about your country is also one of the point of concern, right? While determining which particular market to enter. If you've been speculated as there is going to be a huge boom in the Indian market, there's going to be a lot of potential, or there are so many untapped area which can be explored. Government is providing quite liberalized approach, or government is providing quite rebate and relaxation or subsidies to the foreign investor. The people will start moving towards your country, and these become a factor for influencing the exchange rate in the market. So now let's begin with lecture number 12, and let's look at the learning objectives of the lecture number 12. The first learning objective of this lecture is some aspects of the foreign exchange market will be explored. We will come to know about the participants in the foreign exchange market. We will also get to know about the foreign exchange market like cash, exchange rate codes, and even will get to know about the LERMs. This is the liberalized exchange rate and management system which is introduced in India. Let's begin with the introduction of foreign exchange. As far as the entire foreign market is concerned, what it is actually, where it exists, let's try to create the complete visualization of the forex market, foreign exchange market, right? We'll see that foreign exchange market is having any physical existence. So the answer is no. There is no physical evidence of the foreign exchange market. It is purely virtual, right? There is no physical evidence of the foreign exchange market. When you want to visit the Nasdaq or Bombay Stock Exchange, you'll end up visiting the old historical building. But as far as the foreign exchange market is concerned, there is no such building. Everything is happening virtually. It is the largest market in the world. Why it is the largest market in the world? Because it is having a dealing of 4 trillion on a daily basis. It's having a 4 trillion deal on a daily basis. This sort of the dealing is taking place, and in the foreign exchange market, which is the biggest market in the world. It is 24/7 market, that there is nothing like Saturday or Sunday, as you can see in the Bombay Stock Exchange market, as you see in the Nasdaq or the London Tokyo Stock Market. What you will see, there are certain off day, there are week, these financial markets are not working, security markets are not working. But in the case of foreign exchange market, there is nothing like off. It is working 24/7, and the dealings are taking place on a daily basis. The liquidity is comparatively very high. Whenever you want to sold off the currency that you are holding, you can sold off at that particular date currency convertibility charges. So you just have to see the convertibility charges of that particular day. On that basis, you can easily convert your currency into the cash. There is a complete transparency in the system. That means the system is purely transparent. There is no such glitch like hiding the facts, because everything is taking place on an online system, and information is passing from one dealer to another dealer, right? There are brokers also, there are hedgers also, arbitrators also are there, right? So every person who is involved in foreign exchange market, they are having an access to the same information which is circulated, and they are having a very good software where there is no glitch or no hiding, and there is no system of hiding the fact and figure from the other. So it's an open market, it's a market with lot of clarity, proper graphs and charts are there, proper analysis is there, and it is totally transparent to each and every person. Both the person, the buyer and seller, can have a clarity when to sell and when to buy. Even brokers are there also to guide them what will be the right buying time, what will be the right selling time of the currencies which you have purchased. So there is a transparency in the system. There are various trading options. Trading options are ranging from short term to the long run business, right? You can have a short term and the long run trading options, right? A short leg or the long leg trading options you can have. You, apart from this, you will be having the various currency and the various contracts, right? There are different size of the contract in this foreign exchange market. There are different size of the currencies, different countries are involved in it. So there is a huge quantum of the different currency where you can have a dealing with. So it's not confined to only few options. As far as the foreign exchange market is concerned, the trading options are plenty. You can have a long leg trading option, you can have a short leg trading option, right? And there are various contracts which you can make use of. And apart from this contract, you are having various currencies also in the market in which you can trade, right? So thus foreign exchange market therefore constitute an interconnected network of the buyers and seller, because there is no physical evidence. So it is going to be a network system, and that too interconnected network system. People are interacting virtually with each other and getting and understanding how the currency is moving, that how a particular market is taking a shape. One of the dealing option, that is a reporting dealer. Reporting dealer play a significant role in foreign exchange market. How the people are playing a significant role in the foreign exchange market? Because they are constituting very big financial institution, or they are constituting a large business size through the connection with the large bank system, right? Like Citi is there, Barclays is there, right? JP Morgan is there, right? So such kind of the banks are involved, and the huge transaction of the foreign currency are taking place, right? And this, because of this, they become the price assessor, they become the people who will be influencing the price, and they are the people who will be the market makers, right? So they have a significant say in the foreign exchange market. What will be the currency rate, at what rate it is going to go down, what will be the fluctuations in the coming year? The right assessment is coming from reporting dealers. Now let's talk about the different types of market participants in the foreign exchange market. There is a forex dealer. Forex dealers are also known as the dealers. They are also known as dealers. They are also known as interbanks, because these are the people usually a bank. These are usually a bank. This is not one individual, it's actually the entire bank. This just a moment before I was talking about reporting dealers. and these are actually the banks, like JP Morgan is there, like Citi is there, Barclays is there, right? So such kind of the banks are into the deal, they are dealing, they are having transactions, right? And they are the people who are into the system of bringing the money in the market. They are the people who are regulating the flow of the currency in the market, right? They are influencing the market. They are the people who are setting the price. They are the people who are influencing the price. They are the people who are making the market movements. They are making the market movements. They are ensuring that how and what will be the next movement of the market are going to be get ensured by this particular forex dealers. So they play a essential role. So anybody who is having a fair idea that in which particular market to enter or which particular currency to buy, right? If anybody is having a fair idea about the currency market, then they can directly talk to the dealer and their deal can be set, right? If in case you have some unclarity about the foreign exchange market, you are not clear about the currency valuation, then you can bring the broker in between. Broker is going to play the role of making you understand what is the right currency charges, right? At what time you should buy, at what time you should sell. This is going to be made clear to you by the broker. Otherwise there is no need of a broker. If you have a complete knowledge of the currency market, then you can directly deal with the dealer. You can directly contact the forex dealer or the reporting dealer and get your deal sanctioned and get your transaction done, maybe on the spot rate or the forward rate, whatever the rate you want to fix, you can have a deal with the person directly. But on the contrary side, if you have a little knowledge about the market, you are not clear that which particular currency to invest in, you might not be able to speculate the currency valuation in the market, or you might be new into the market. So it is always advisable to bring the broker in between, and broker will be charging certain commissions from you. Next is the hedger. What the hedger do? They try to minimize the violation involved in the currency transaction. So they try to play the safe game. They are the people who will be playing the safe game in the foreign exchange market. There are some volatility, right? There are some volatility, or there is the scope that the particular currency is going to go down and the high risk is involved in it. So they try to minimize the risk by having some better option of buying in the market, right? They try to do some averaging in the market, or sometimes they try to get into some other currency which is more speculatively correct, right? So they try to minimize the risk. That is the job of the hedger. On the other side, there are speculators. Speculators are going to play the role of speculating the movement of the currency in the market. They try to actually assess how the forex dealers are going to set the deal for the market. They usually assess the movement of the market, movement of the currency in the market, right, on their basis, and they do prediction, they do some betting in the market, and on the basis of their betting, some people win, some people lose. So the possibility of gaining and possibility of the loss are same, right? So there is a risk of loss as well as there is a risk, there is a possibility of the gain also. So speculation is largely depend upon your prediction. You are predicting, you are trying to assess the particular currency valuation in the market. So that is the job of the speculator, and most of the time people end up to be the speculator because their past experience let them know that they've been taking correct decision for the past many years, and they've been experienced as a worker of the bank. They've been the investor bankers for so many years. Now they are retired. Now they become a speculator. So they are the people who are into this market for so many years. They have seen the market very closely. They being the part of the bank who are investor bankers, and they have seen how the market is moving and what are the criteria and the reasons are there for the fluctuation and movement of the currency in the market. So those people can be the good speculator. So initially when you are new into the market, don't try to be the speculator. Only and only when you have 20 to more than 20 years of experience in the market, then only you can have a speculation. Then arbitrator. What is the role of the arbitrator? Arbitrator, they are the people who try to take the advantage of price discrepancies in different market. What they try to do, they try to figure out which particular market is having a slightly less price, so that I can take the advantage of buying the currency from that market instead of the other country where the price of the same currency is comparatively higher. So they try to take the advantage of price discrepancies in the different market. And that's also one of the these are the actually the three people who are most commonly found in the foreign exchange market, and they play actively in the foreign market, and they are also the people who are significantly contributing in the currency circulation in the market. Next is the central bank. Central bank of every country is into the forex market. Why central bank of every country has to be into the forex market? In order to control particularly the country who are having the managed foreign exchange rate, system. Those who are having managed foreign exchange rate system are the country where the central bank will be actively participating in the foreign exchange market. Why they usually participate in the foreign exchange market? Because what they need to do, they need to buy and sell the securities, because they need to maintain the certain range, and this entire process is known as crowl pegging, right? So because they need to maintain certain range, and for maintaining certain range in the market of the currency or the valuation of the currency in the market, they need to maintain it. So for that they need to buy or sell securities in the market. They even come up with open market securities, right, in order to sell off their securities, because there are a lot of inflation taking place in the country. So what they do, in order to suck up the money from the market, they come up with open market security options, right? So that is the reason why central bank play a significant role, and they are the big participant of the foreign exchange market, because they have to control the inflation, the flow of the money in the entire market. So in our case, RBI is playing active role. They are buying and selling the securities in the foreign exchange market in order to ensure some standard range, and if any fluctuation is taking place, they are going to introduce more of the open market security to ensure the proper valuation of the currency in the market. Another one is the retail market participant. Retail market participants are usually the tourist, medical tourism if taking place, right? If any person is moving for some business or some other transaction, they are the people who will be coming under the retail market participants. They are the people who are if anybody want to move to Thailand, right, they have to convert Indian currency into Thai baht, right? So if you are moving from India to Thailand for just a trip, for just tourism purpose, then you have to convert your Indian currency into Thai baht, right? That means that's also one of the way of contributing to the foreign exchange market, and this is going to be the retail market participant. So if any medical tourists are coming from Australia to India to get their dentistry services done comparatively at a reasonable cost, so they will be converting their Australian US dollar to buy Indian rupees to get that medical services done, right? Even a lot of American people are also moving to India. Russian people are moving to India for medical services, right? So they need to convert their foreign currency into the Indian currency so that they can get their transaction done, or they can get their required services. Because in India, when they will be dealing with the people, when they will be having a private services, when they want to take some private services, they have to carry Indian rupees in their hand, right? So these are the retail market participants who are also again actively participating in the forex market. So far we have try to understand what is actually the foreign exchange market, right? Do the foreign exchange market is having any physical existence? We get to know that there is no physical evidence of the foreign exchange market. It is a virtual market. Even in case of Bombay Stock Exchange or the Nasdaq or London Tokyo Exchange, right, London Stock Exchange market or the Tokyo Stock Exchange market, you will end up seeing a good historical building. But as far as the foreign exchange market is concerned, there is no such building even, right? Even in case of the stock market, what we see, they are off days, right? Saturday and Sunday they are not going to work, right? Sunday they are not going to work. So in this case of foreign exchange market, it is not like Sunday, right? Every day they are working. It is 24/7 market, and even you can easily convert your currency, right? There, the convertibility charges, on the basis of the convertibility charges, you can easily convert your currency into the required foreign currency, right? So even we get to know there are plenty of trading options. It is not stringent, it is not like just few options are there. There are plenty of trading options are there. Even you can deal in short leg or the long leg. You have variety of financial contracts, you have variety of currencies you can deal in, and that too with the transparency in the system, that you can have a fair look at all the terms and condition and all the possibilities, all the speculations you can do well in advance. And this is what possible because of the right information system available and the right correct software the people are using for a foreign exchange market. And at last we can get to know that foreign exchange is the thing which is constituting the large network of buyer and seller, and these are interconnected buyers and seller, right? Next we get to know about the various forex dealers, right? And they are also known as interbank, and they are the people who are the price influencer. They are the people who are the market makers, because they are dealing in huge and large size of the financial that they are dealing with huge and large size of the currency transactions, right? It is a group of big financial institutions, so they are influencing the market, right? And the brokers are, and if anyone is having a direct knowledge, they can directly deal with the dealer to get the transaction done. But if you are little lacking with the knowledge, you are new in the market, then broker would be the right choice to start with, because they are the people who will be giving you the basic knowledge. They are the people might be doing some work on your behalf, and they will give you the right indication what is the right time to enter, what is the right time to exit. Hedgers are the people who are always trying to reduce the volatility attached to the currency purchase. So they always look for reducing the risk. So they are the people will always try to find, if I have purchased this currency and if there are possibility of going down, then how I am going to minimize the risk, right? How I will be reducing the risk, how I am going to average out this risk. That is the job of the hedgers. And the speculators are the people who are speculating what is going to happen in the near future in terms of the currency valuation. If the particular currency is going to do well in the market or the currency is going to go down, they are the people who are into betting. And for betting, you need to have a fair knowledge of the entire market. Without having a fair knowledge, you won't be able to make the correct betting, you won't be able to speculate. So those who are forex dealers from years, those who are the part of investor bankers, can be a good speculators. Initially you should not try to be a speculator, because you are new to the market and you cannot assess it, so it's going to be very dangerous. Arbitrators are those people who are trying to take the advantage of the price difference or the price discrimination in the different countries, right? If in a X country the price is Y and in the other country is 1 minus Y, so that means there is a possibility of getting the particular product or the currency at a lower rate, which is not possible in the existing market in which you might be dealing. Central bank are also playing the significant role in the foreign exchange market, because they want to maintain the certain level of the currency valuation or the currency flow or the money flow in the market, right? So for maintaining the flow of the money in the market, what they need to see that there is a excess flow of the money or there is a less flow of the money. So if they are finding their money is floating excessively, lot of investment is taking place in a country, so what they are going to do, they are going to issue the open market securities, right? They are going to call for the people to buy those securities and the bonds, and this is how they try to suck up the money from the market. Apart from this, there are a few more monetary policies are there which RBI may be using, like CRR, SLR that we had discussed in the previous lecture. Here the open market security is going to be the point of concern under the foreign exchange market. All right, and the next one is the retail market participant. Here what the participants used to do, they are seeking the foreign market for the tourism purpose, or maybe the medical tourism purpose. And when you are moving from your home country to the host country for the traveling purpose, you will be converting your home country currency into the foreign country currency, and that's also one of the way of contributing into the foreign exchange currency market. Now let's look at how to trade in the foreign exchange market. There are dealers can trade in foreign exchange market, right? Rather directly with the customer they can deal with, or through the brokers they can deal with. If anyone is lagging with the knowledge or the information, or they need some more assistance which dealer directly may not be able to provide because of the time paucity, so you can connect with the broker. And through electronic brokerage system is also there. That is this is an additional thing which become possible because of advancement in technology. Electronic brokerage system is also there. There is a directly there the option is of doing the work through interbank, that is a forex dealer, right? The forex dealers are also known as interbank, right? So you can directly go to the forex dealer, or the customer can do it directly, because the entire system is open for everyone. Everyone can log in and can get into that transaction purpose. You need to have your registration and login, right? You need to you can else have a broker who will be doing all the work for you. On the other side, electronic brokerage system is also there, and the other one is the forex dealer or the interbank can support you to start trading in the foreign exchange market, helping you to understand how you can convert the currency in the required market. So foreign exchange market is covering over the counter option and the security exchange option, right? Over the counter is comprised of commercial bank. It comprises of commercial banks, right? So it is comprising of commercial bank, like the like some commercial banks, and even the investment banks are going to be covered here, and other financial institutions, right? And even the other financial institutions are going to be the part of the over the counter trading system. And as it is comprising of the commercial bank, investment bank, and other financial institutions, the moment before we had talked about like financial institutions like Citi, Barclays, JP Morgan, right? These are some of the examples of the financial institutions actively working, right? So they are the people who are helping, and this is like a system. This is a system which is helping in converting the currency into the required currency, right? Another is a security exchange, and this is the absolutely 24/7 available system, right? And the other is the security exchange, like Bombay Stock Exchange is there, like NASDAQ is there, right? These are the things which are going to come under it, where certain type of foreign exchange instruments such as the future and options are traded, right? Now global over the counter foreign exchange instruments. There are certain foreign exchange instruments which the person will be making use when they are into some transaction, when they are trying to convert their currency, or when they are going to have some dealing related to the currency. So it can be either a spot rate, or it is going to be a forward rate, FX swap, currency swap, option, or future contract. So if it is a spot rate, what is going to happen in a spot rate? Whatever the currency transaction you are taking, it's going to take place after in 2 days. It's going to take place in 2 days. Suppose today you made a transaction deal, right? And today is Sunday, and tomorrow and day after tomorrow, that is on Tuesday, it is going to be delivered, right? So spot rate involve the exchange of currency delivery in 2 business days from the day of transaction was made. It is going to made in 2 business days from the date the transaction was made. And this kind of the spot transaction is usually having a 38% of the entire market, right? The people prefer to do business more through the spot transaction, that is and the total percentage is 38. So here the currency is going to, the exchange of the currency is going to involve 2 days from the date that the transaction was made, and it is going to be on the spot rate. That means a day that particular transaction was done, or that particular contract was signed, that is going to be on the date. What is the value of the currency on that particular date? It is going to freeze on that day, and it is going you're going to get the delivery after in 2 days, right? There is another option, that is outright forward transaction. Outright forward transaction is going to have you will be getting your and whenever the exchange of the currency or the transaction is taking place, it is going to be beyond 2 days, right? It is not going to be on that within the 2 days, it is going to be beyond 2 days, and the rate at which it is going to be fixed is going to be a forward rate. That means that day it will be delivered on, and whatever the price of the currency will be, it is going to be charged on that basis. So it is not, say today we are having a deal, today we are having a transaction, and what is the price of the currency today, we are going to fix it, that is the part of the spot rate. But in case of the outright forward transaction, it is going to be a future rate, it is not going to be a current date rate. Just the day you will be getting the delivery and what will be the rate of the currency on that day is going to be counted under the outright forward transaction rate, right? And then moving towards the next, that is the FX swap, is like exchanging, or you are having a one currency is traded for another on one date and then swept back later. Most often what used to happen, the first and short leg is going to be here in this case of the FX swap, what used to happen, first and short leg is usually a spot rate, spot transaction. However, the second and long leg is going to be a forward transaction, is going to be a forward transaction. So FX swap, what you are doing in FX swap, you are exchanging the currency, you are trading in two currency, you are buying one thing and in exchange of other, right? One currency is traded for another on one day and the swept back on the other date, right? And whatever the trading is happening can be on the, what used to happen on the first day, it is going to be the short leg, and on the second day it is going to be a long leg, that is on the basis of the forward rate, and in the next case it is going to be on the spot rate. The currency swap deal with more interest bearing financial instruments such as bond and involve the exchange of principal and interest, and it is covering around the market of these the currency swap, option and future contract usually cover the market of 6.3%. Here in the currency swap, what is happening, they are dealing more with the interest bearing financial instruments such as bond and involve exchange of principal and interest, where in case of option they are right, options are usually the right but not the obligation to trade the foreign currency in future. However, in the future contract is an agreement between two parties to buy or sell the particular currency at a particular price on a particular date and are specified in which are specified in the standardized contract. So far what we try to understand, that there are certain instruments which a particular dealer or the broker can make use of when you are having a transaction of the currency, right? There is a spot rate where if in case today you had a transaction, then within the 2 days you will be getting the delivery of it, and the rate of the currency is going to be fixed on a today's date basis. The day you are having a contract, it is going to be fixed on that day itself, that is a spot rate. Where in case of a forward transaction, it is going to be on the date of the delivery of the transaction. The currency price is going to be determined on the basis of the future rate, right? It is not going to be on the basis of the today's rate, right? Now let's talk about the next important issue, that is convertibility of rupee and its implication. Why any country would not able to rise and grow and flourish? Because there is a problem of converting the currency into the required currency, because of which there might be some heavy duties or the transaction or the convertibility charges, because of which the person might not be able to contribute into the economy. So what will happen if government is going to remove the convertibility charges, or they are going to make easy to convert the currency, your Indian country currency, into any of the foreign country currency without taking the permission from the RBI? then this is going to facilitate more of export, because now you can do dealing more easily. Otherwise, for every next transaction you have to take the permission and you have to call the RBI into picture to know whether you can convert your currency, your Indian currency, into X currency. So this unnecessary further delay the process, and keeping the requirement of foreign exchange market, or keeping the requirement of foreign investment, maximum of foreign investment in a country, and increasing the foreign exchange or the foreign reservoir of the country, the government has to take the call of minimizing the restrictions which they have imposed on converting the currency into other currency. So now let's look at some of the points of convertibility of the rupee and its implication. Let's begin with the scenario that why there was a need of having a easy convertibility of the Indian rupee into the required currency when you are having when you are importing certain things, or you are in exporting. The convertibility of currency mean that it can be freely converted into other currency. It helps in removal of quantitative restrictions on the trade and payment on the current account. So when there is a convertibility of a currency and there are no restrictions on it, you can easily convert your currency. It is going to facilitate more of business. It is going to facilitate what? It is going to facilitate the business in the country. And if there will be a business in the country, like you started exporting more easily, and if you require certain machinery to be purchased, and for that you need to convert your currency into Japanese yen, then you are importing, suppose, certain things, or importing Japanese machinery, right? So in that case, what you will be doing, you have to convert your INR into Japanese yen. Right. So for converting into it, you have to take the permission from RBI, and RBI is going to take the call of it, and they either allow you or they may not allow you. Right. So this process of calling RBI, getting assurance whether we can do it or not, this autonomy being given to the businessmen of India itself, or the people in India itself, that if they want to convert the currency into the required currency and for some transaction purpose or some business purpose, they can do it by themselves. There is no restriction from the side of the RBI. After the announcement of economic liberalization in 1991, why this actually happened? Because of the LPG policy, or the economic reform which took place in India, this actually compelled the government to come up with such kind of the full convertibility of the currency in the current account. However, capital accounts still not touched by the Indian government. They have only touched the full convertibility in current account. So after the announcement of economic liberalization in 1991, Government of India announced the partial convertibility of the rupees from the 1st March 1992 in order to integrate Indian economy with the rest of the globe. Now as it become easy to convert, now it is easily going to mingle up with the other countries' currency. Under this partial convertibility, 40% of earning were convertible into rupees and officially determined exchange rate. Remaining 60% of exchange rate are convertible into rupees in the market determined exchange rate. So there was a scenario where it was not 100%. At that point of time, the 40% is going to be converted into the currency set by the RBI, and the rest is based on the market forces, or whatever the market prices is, it's going to be determined by that. So 40% convertibility was announced earlier. When this particular concept came into practice in 1992, this thing was applicable. Only 40% of convertibility was given, but now there is 100% convertibility on current account only. On current account, it is not for the capital account, it is for the current. Now this is a scenario of nowadays. Earlier it was the system. The system was introduced as a transitional arrangement toward unified exchange rate with the current account convertibility. Now let's look at the LERMS, that is Liberalized Exchange Rate Management System. Liberalized Exchange Rate Management System, as the name suggests, that you need to have a system where you can easily convert the currency in the particular country currency where you are having a transaction. Say for just a moment before I give an example of Japanese yen, say for example you are having some dealing with the Australian country and you want to convert your Indian currency into Australian dollar, then it should be easily convertible into a US dollar, right? So Indian government introduced the liberalized exchange rate management system in March 1992. The system was announced by Dr. Manmohan Singh in the year 1992 budget and then later by RBI. This was the initial step enabled the transition of market determined exchange rate. It opened up the exporter and helped the exporters particularly to realize 60% of their proceeding earning at the market while surrendering the rest of the official rate to RBI. That's official rate for RBI, and that is of 40%, and this was the scenario when it was introduced. In other words, India moved from the fixed to dual exchange rate system. Foreign exchange surrendered at the official rate was made available in importing essential items of product including petroleum, fertilizers and life-saving drugs. There was a time when they have to convert the Indian currency when they are buying some petroleum stuffs from Iran or other Saudi Arab side. But now recently the Indian government has put forward a proposal to Iran that when we would be buying a petroleum products from you, we will be making payment in Indian rupees. Now we will not be making payment in US dollar. So this is the recent development which government is trying to initiate in order to maintain the value of the Indian currency in the foreign market. They have signed a contract, an agreement within Iran government that when we will be buying petroleum product from you, we will be making payment in Indian rupees. No US dollar payment will be made further. So that's a further development taking place in the country. Exchange rate is the value of one nation currency versus the currency of another nation or the economic zone, whatever is that. The exchange rate can be either fixed or floating. Right? Fixed is pegged ones. You have pegged your currency, right, and the floating is on the basis of the market forces, that is demand and supply, right. Fixed exchange rate are decided by the central bank of the country, whereas the floating are decided by the mechanism of the demand and supply, right. So it is the fixed rate are going to be determined by the central bank of our country, and in our case RBI is going to determine the fixed rate of it. Now let's look at the implication of convertibility. Now the various authorized dealers have empowered to release exchange without prior approval of RBI. That means now there is no such restriction. You can easily convert your currency without having prior approval from RBI. Exporter find it easy to transact the business. Many bureaucrat hurdles are eliminated in the process of obtaining foreign exchange for import. Therefore, importer job is simplified. Even more than 100 countries around the world are having fully convertibility of the currency on their current account. India also become a part of it, right, quite late afterwards. But even nowadays India, a few years before, India was even looking for the having a full capital account convertibility, but because of the crisis in the Middle East and Mexican city, government of India been pushed to put this idea or the proposal in the cold storage, right. Earlier they were in the mood of the planning to put forward the full or 100% capital account convertibility as well, but because of the crisis which took place in the Middle East, the Southeast Asia region, and particularly the Mexican city, right, they put the entire proposal into the cold storage. Now they are not thinking about it, they are just confining to full 100% current account convertibility, right. So today we are trying to understand the convertibility and its implication on Indian economic policy. In this lecture, what we were figuring out that convertibility of the rupee and its implication has positively impacted the nation economy, right, because now it become quite easy for a particular business to do the transaction, and it is helping the exporters to convert the currency and can do the business in a better way without having a hassle or without complicating the process of doing the business, right, and which is ultimately going to help country in maintaining the balance of payment of a country, right. So because we are having a negative balance of payment, and for maintaining or controlling this negative outflow, what we need to improve upon our export, and such kind of the idea or such kind of the policies execution by the government is all because of facilitating the export in the country. every measure which government is taking in a country, be it a Make in India concept or the various startups the government is improving or providing a lot of subsidies and the rebate, the concept of a special economic zone, export processing zone, free trade zone, right, all are moving in the direction of increasing the maximum of investment in India, right, with the maximum of investment in India. And if there are certain barriers or there are certain glitches of converting the currency, everything require long tedious process to get the work done or sanction is going to bore the people, right. The people will feel frustrated that what to handle the market fluctuation or handle the competition in the market, or to look into this procedural activities which are so long, which are so tough and complicated to handle. So the government also taking into consideration that if we will be very stringent or very strict or very harsh towards certain activities, then nobody will get attracted toward our country. So these different policies the government is ensuring, helping the foreign investors and even the Indian investors also, Indian businessmen also, to start their business in an effective manner and do the work in a manner which is going to altogetherly help the economy of all the nation, not only the India but also the country from which the foreign companies are coming to us should also get benefited. Until unless it is a win-win situation for the different government, there will be no investment. So our government perspective of coming up with certain liberal policies in the system is to facilitate more of foreign investment and facilitating the export, and they, with the concept of Make in India, they want to minimize the import in the country. So altogetherly this system of a convertibility of rupee and its implication is helping the government in improving upon their export and controlling over their import. Let's quickly look at the topics that we had discussed today. Today we talked about some of the aspects related to the foreign exchange market. We get to know that who are the participants in the foreign exchange market. We get to know the foreign exchange instruments like spot trade. We come to know about the forward rate. We come to know about the option. We come to know about the FX swap, right. We come to know about the various market, like the currency options are also there in the market, which help us to find out that if we want to deal in the foreign market, which particular instrument I can make use of, right. If I want to make a deal, I want to make a deal on the today's price, then I will be getting for the spot rate. If I am speculating that today the price might be low but in future date is going to be a little high, but I want to fix the contract, so you may go for the forward rate transaction, right. In FX swap, what we observe, in FX swap the transaction is taking place, they are one day you are purchasing in one currency and then you are reverting it back. But in this case what we particularly observe, in the first tenses short lag is happening, which is the spot transaction, and in the second the long lag is happening, that is a forward transaction. So different instruments are going to let you know that which particular transaction can be facilitated, and if you are a good speculator or you have some good dealers, then, or the broker who are guiding you, then you can take the correct action in the foreign exchange market, right. We even get to know about the liberalized exchange rate management system of a country, which is facilitating and helping the country economy. It is helping the country economy by attracting the foreign investors to our India, because now government has removed all convertibility issues. Now as far as the Indian government is concerned, there is 100% convertibility in a current account. However, capital account convertibility is still under control. Though the Indian government was also planning and they were proposing to come up with some 100% convertibility even in the capital account, but because of the crisis in the Mexico City, they put the entire proposal in the cold storage. So these are the different reference book which I have referred before delivering the lecture. You can also refer and can be of lot of help to you while understanding the foreign exchange market. I hope today's lecture is clear to all of you. Thank you so much. All the best.
Hi, my name is Gillette Sam and I teach sociology at IIT Kanpur. I'm here to tell you a little bit about how we can think about globalization in a sociological manner. Now, one of the important concepts in the field of globalization, and particularly global studies, is that of global flows. It's a term that was developed by the sociologist and anthropologist Arjun Appadurai. He said that as the world is becoming a more and more global place, you increasingly see the movement of different types of things, both tangible and non tangible, across multiple national borders. Um, to begin with, you can look at how your day proceeds. I often need a cup of tea to actually start my day. Now, if you think about it, tea that we drink is not something that is that originated in India. It's actually a drink that comes to us from quite far away in China. And this is something that has happened not immediately, but it has happened 400 or 500 years ago. So this kind of movement actually happened with the movement of people. Now, this kind of movement of people and goods is one category of flows that Appadurai talks about. A second category of flows could be financial flows. And a good way to think about this is the kind of volatility that you can see in economic markets today. For instance, in 2008, the whole world experienced a very serious economic jolt. Developments in the country of Iceland had a huge repercussion across many, many countries in the world. Now, that gives you an indication of the kind of financial flows that are a part of globalization. So, we are not only talking about money flowing from place to place, but also financial decisions made in one place having an impact on other parts of the world. Appadurai also argues that there is a third category of flows which he refers to as the flow of images or media. Now, this is something that I'm sure you're quite used to. Much of the programming that you watch on television today, for instance, you may actually be watching channels that have originated or programming that's originated elsewhere. More than that, it could also be that the programming that you see today is influenced by shows that have originated abroad. Similarly, you can have content that was made in India, which makes its way to other places in the world. For instance, we know that Bollywood films are extremely popular in many countries across Africa. So this kind of movement of media is, Appadurai considers it to be an important part of globalization. The fourth category that he talks about is the movement of ideas. So this means that ideas that are popular in one part of the world are not restricted to that part alone, but they actually travel across borders. So, for instance, something that you may read about in the papers would be, say, events such as gay pride events. Now, gay pride events have their origin in places like New York. But the idea that there should be equality between people, irrespective of what their sexual preference is, that is an idea that has now become popular across the world. And so that's the fourth category of flows that he referred to. The fifth category of flows that Appadurai talks about is that of technology. An easy way to think about this is, let's say tomorrow there is news announced that Apple is going to release, iPhone 7. As you can anticipate, there is going to be a lot of excitement in many parts of the world, and people are going to start queuing up, waiting for those products to actually come to their country. So, technology is something that is quite exciting and really moves across various national borders.